I know that working out is good for me. I know that going for a walk is good for me. I know that stretching is good for me. I know all these things.
Okay.
And then I'll do them and I'll feel good after doing them. But then
yes.
I don't find myself craving like a gym session. I don't find myself being like, it'd be nice right now? A little bench press. I know it's midnight, but I can sneak in a little 250.
You see, I like to do that sometimes, but I'll tell you, there's a couple things there. All right, so if you want to talk about the neuroscience of habit formation, the way that every single habit is formed is it first begins as a dopamine-driven activity, right? So when social media first came out, you weren't going on social media out of habit. You went on there because you could connect with your friends, or you could, you could post something or whatever it is, right? You went on there for a goal, for a reason. Same thing with ice cream or, vaping, whatever it is. You started it because it felt good. That's why you started.
Okay, so feel good is the first thing.
Right. And then that dopamine. So dopamine actually drives learning. It drives neuroplasticity, which is the ability for your brain to rewire. So dopamine drives learning. And dopamine isn't just released when something great happens. It's also released when something not so great happens. It's more of a salience molecule, which means like, look at me. So anything that really like grabbed your attention, that's why you have really strong memories of bad events as well, because they're emotional and they raise dopamine as well, just in a different way. So yeah, anything that really boosts dopamine, it will drive that learning, right? And so what actually happens is that over time, the dopamine moves from being released when you get the good thing to being released whenever you see sort of a cue or something that represents that good thing, right? So for example, it's super, super easy to just talk about it with, drugs of abuse, but we can talk about ice cream. Initially, you got dopamine from eating ice cream. But over time, you get the dopamine from seeing the ice cream because your brain's anticipating a reward. So your dopamine moves from actually getting the reward to the anticipation of the reward, and that's craving. So that's sort of how habit formation works. And then once that happens, then you kind of begin this it goes from this goal-directed behavior, right? And it moves to a stimulus response behavior or a cue response where like before it was like, oh, I want to eat this ice cream because I know like I want to eat this ice cream. It's going to taste good. And now it's like, oh no, I see the ice cream. Dopamine is released when I see the carton. And that's going to drive me because dopamine is also a molecule of action to go and eat it. And you don't want to. It's just that your dopamine has learned to associate the picture of the ice cream that you're seeing with a reward. And now you're not even deciding it. It's just your brain is driving you to do it